Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Lisandro Martinez is in Manchester to undergo his medical. Manchester United agree deal with Lisandro Martinez. Man United have got Martinez for around £45 million. Lisandro Martinez will sign a contract until June 2027. So Lisandro Martinez will be the third signing of the summer and the third signing of the Erik ten Hag era. Lisandro Martinez has been at Ajax since 2019. Don't forget, Arsenal tried to get him. So that's the news on him. Now I want to give you some more news on Frenkie de Jong. So, Man United have suffered a Frenkie de Jong blow, as Frenkie de Jong will go on tour with Barcelona. Fabrizio Romano mentioned the other day that Man United and Barcelona had reached a full agreement for midfielder Frenkie de Jong. It said a fee of €85 million had been agreed. Now, not so long ago, Man United staff were in Barcelona over pushing through a deal for de Jong. Not so long ago, de Jong and his agent were very angry with Barcelona. De Jong's actually told Man United he wants to stay at Barcelona. You know, de Jong has been at Barcelona since 2019. So he's been at Barcelona for around 3 years or so. He's got a contract with Barcelona until 2026. De Jong is a versatile midfielder. Barcelona did get him from Ajax. They paid around £65 million. So that's more news on him. Now, yesterday it was official that Man United had signed Christian Eriksen on a 3-year contract. So Christian Eriksen is under contract with Man United until June 2025. Man United did get Christian Eriksen on a free transfer. Revert back to the other week, it said Christian Eriksen had verbally agreed to join Man United. I reckon Eriksen will be a good signing for Man United. The second half of last season, he was out on loan with Brentford. He signed for Brentford back in January. When he officially signed for Brentford, he signed a 6-month contract. Before, he played for Inter Milan, Eriksen. Before then, he played for Tottenham. He was a long-serving player at Tottenham, so Eriksen's proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial. And when Eriksen was younger, he played for Ajax. He began his playing career at Ajax. Revert back to the Euros, Eriksen collapsed because he suffered a cardiac arrest. And not so long ago, Man United signed Terrell Malaysia from Feyenoord. Man United got him for around £13 million. Terrell Malaysia is under contract with Man United until June 2026 as an option to extend for a further year. Terrell Malaysia is a left back. You can say he is the replacement for Alex Telles. So far, Erik ten Hag's made 2 signings. That's Terrell Malaysia and Christian Eriksen, and we are very close to getting Lisandro Martinez. So we are having a good transfer window. Like I said to you on my last video yesterday, Manchester United beat Melbourne Victory 4-1. That's 2 wins out of 2 in pre-season for Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. Erik ten Hag has enjoyed a good start to his managerial career at Man United, and I've already mentioned that I've got a lot of faith in ten Hag. I think he's a good manager. I think he can get Man United competing again. This is the first time that Ten Hag is experiencing the Premier League, and like I've said on my recent videos, the Premier League is totally contrast to the Dutch League. You've got to admire what Ten Hag did at Ajax, because when he was at Ajax he won Eredivisie titles, he won Dutch Cups. Revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. And he developed the young players well. Ten Hag was the Ajax manager for around 5 years. And before, Ten Hag managed Utrecht, Bayern Munich's reserves and Go Ahead Eagles. Ten Hag's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option to extend for a further year. Don't forget Mitchell van der Gaag and Steve McLaren are working alongside Ten Hag at Man United. Ten Hag is Man United's 5th permanent manager since Sir Alex Ferguson. Earlier on this year, Ralf Rangnick left the club. So reflecting on that, it did say that Ralf Rangnick would not take up the consultancy role at Man United. Rangnick got appointed in as the new head coach of Austria. Ralf Rangnick was Man United's interim manager for around 5 months. He only enjoyed 1 transfer window as Manchester United's interim manager, and unfortunately he didn't get backed in this year's January transfer window. When Rangnick was Man United's interim manager though, he did recommend Ewan Sharping as an assistant coach and analyst. He also recommended Chris Armisen as an assistant coach, and he recommended Saz Chalenzin as a sports psychologist, so Rangnick did make changes. At one point, Ralf Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Players are going to stay at Manchester United. David De Gea will certainly be staying for as long as possible. David De Gea was absolutely sensational last season. He's regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. David De Gea made around 4 good saves in the 4-0 win against Liverpool in Bangkok. Unfortunately, David De Gea went off injured in that game against Liverpool not so long ago. So obviously Tom Heaton was in goal in the 4-1 win against Melbourne Victory. David De Gea has enjoyed around 11 years at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant. He's been with us since the Ferguson era. De Gea's contract at Man United expires next year. He earns around £375,000 a week. Earlier on this year, he won the Players Player of the Year award. Well, De Gea's won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. I do think that Luke Shaw will be staying at Manchester United, because hopefully this season he's going to have a good season. I thought Last season Luke Shaw was very poor. But there again he had injuries. So obviously Tellez was our first choice left back under Rangnick because Shaw wasn't available. The best season Shaw's enjoyed at Man United was the season before last. Shaw has been a long-serving player at Man United. He's been at Man United for around 9 years. Shaw's contract expires next year. Man United did get Luke Shaw from Southampton. Yeah, of course, Terrell Malaysia will be staying because Man United signed him not so long ago. Eric Bailly, he's now staying at the club. I initially thought Bailly was going to be leaving because not so long ago it said that Fulham wanted Eric Bailly on loan with an option to buy. But sources close to the player said that, Bailly's not interested in going anywhere. He wants to fight for his place at Manchester United. And to Bailly's credit, I think he's done well in his first 2 pre-season games. Did well in the 4-0 win against Liverpool. And he did well against Melbourne Victory. Don't forget he provided Marcus Rashford's goal against Melbourne Victory. Bailly's got 2 years left on his contract at Man United. Man United did get him from Villarreal back in 2016. Man United paid around 30 million. We brought him in under the Jose Mourinho era. Bailly's a good centre-half, but he is injury-prone, which is a concern. He's not really one of our first-choice centre-halves. Harry Maguire will probably be staying at Man United this year, but I think there's a good chance he'll leave next year unless he can do well this season. Earlier on this year, Harry Maguire held talks with Erik ten Hag over the Man United captaincy. Throughout the course of last season, the vast majority of Man United fans were demanding for the captaincy to be taken off Maguire because he's not a leader. Maguire has endured quite a few injuries as a United player, and he's been at United for around 3 years now. Man United overpaid for him, got him for 80 million. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. Varane, he will stay at Manchester United. Varane needs at least another season or 2. Varane's had some good games since he come. He's had some poor games as well. On the other side of things, though, he has had injuries. But Varane has not done as well as a lot of United fans expected. Let's put into the equation, Varane is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced. He's got a good pedigree as a player because look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at Real Madrid. And he was a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He was at Real Madrid for a good 10 years. Man United signed Varane last year. He's under contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option to extend for a further year. Victor Lindelof, I think he'll stay at Man United this year, but he could leave next year. I've heard that Napoli have been interested in Victor Lindelof. Lindelof's not one of our first choice centre-halves. He stopped being one of our first choice centre-halves when Varane signed last year. Lindelof's played a lot of games though. He's had good games, he's had bad games. He's nowhere near on the same level as Varane. And he's nowhere near as good as Eric Bailly either. Lindelof's got a contract with Man United until 2024. Man United got Lindelof from Benfica back in 2017. Got him for around 31 million. Brandon Williams, he'll probably be staying at the club. There again, he may leave because Williams is like, 4th choice left back? Because the other 3 left backs we've got is Terrell Malaysia, Luke Shaw and Alex Tellez. And even if Tellez leaves, which I think he will, Williams will be 3rd choice. Last season, Brandon Williams was out on loan with Norwich. Diego Dalot, He'll stay, I think, for this year, but could leave next year. Delors actually our first choice right back. He was our first choice right back under Rangnick. He's had his good games, Delors. At one point, Delors was out on loan with AC Milan, and reflecting on that, he gained some experience. We got Delors from Porto. Man United paid around £19 million for him. Delors' contract at the club expires next year. Aaron Wan-Bissaka now, I initially thought he was going to be leaving this year, but I think he'll stay for this year and leave next year. For me, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not good enough to represent the club. You know, there's aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Bissaka's, you know, he's got to show more attacking intent, his crossing's got to improve, and his positioning has got to improve. So there you go, but defensively most of the time Bissaka's been good. You know, Bissaka's enjoyed 3 full seasons at Man United. Man United got Bissaka in a deal worth 50 million, got him from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019. Scott McTominay, he'll be staying at Manchester United. I don't know how long for. I'm hoping he can do well this season. McTominay did score in the 4-1 win against Melbourne Victory yesterday. McTominay's goal was deflected. McTominay has played a hell of a lot of games alongside Fred in the centre midfield. Fred and McTominay do not complement each other. But McTominay and Fred now need to stop being our first choice midfielders, because obviously Man United just got Christian Eriksen. We're on the verge of getting Martinez. Plus, you know, we've got Van der Beek. So now I think our first choice midfielders should be Christian Eriksen, Van der Beek and Bruno Fernandes maybe. But revert back to McTominay, yeah, he has been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy. Revert back to 2020, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with Man United. You know, the best games I recall McTominay having at Man United, you know, was the cup game against Villa last season at Old Trafford. He played well in the 6-2 win against Leeds because he scored twice in that game, and he played well in the 5-1 win against Leeds on the opening day of last season. Fred, I think he'll stay for this year, but there's a good chance that he'll leave next year. I don't think Fred is good enough. He did well in some games last season, but don't forget he picked up an injury towards the end of last season, and since then he struggled for consistency. Man United did get Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk quite a few years ago. Got him for £50 million. Donny van der Beek, he'll be staying at Manchester United. I'm convinced that Van der Beek will get his opportunities under Ten Hag. You know, Van der Beek didn't really get enough opportunities under Rangnick, and he certainly didn't get enough opportunities under Solskjaer. You know, last season Van der Beek went out on loan with Everton. Man United did get Van der Beek from Ajax. Got him in a deal worth 40 million. Man United paid 35 million up front, and there was 5 million in add-ons. Van der Beek's got a contract with Man United until 2025. Alejandro Garnacho will be staying at the club. You know, he's only a young player. Hannibal Mejbri, pronounced his name correctly, he'll be staying. He's a young player. He made his first start in the final game against Crystal Palace at the end of last season. Of course, Anthony Elanga will be staying at the club. Elanga had some good games last season. He had some poor games as well. Don't forget last season, Anthony Elanga got racially abused on social media because he missed a decisive penalty against Middlesbrough in the Cup. I totally disagreed with Elanga getting racially abused. Elanga has been part of the club for a long time. He joined Man United's academy at the age of 12. And he did sign a contract with Man United until 2026. Jadon Sancho, he'll be staying at the club as well. I said Sancho does deserve at least another season. Sancho's becoming really, really good now. Sancho did score in the 4-0 win against Liverpool in Bangkok. He got the first goal. That came from a poor clearance from Joe Gomez. Sancho rejuvenated himself towards the end of last season. Jadon Sancho did endure a poor start to his Manchester United career. But like I said, it does take some players time to settle in. Man United signed Sancho from Borussia Dortmund, got him in a deal worth 78 million. Man United paid around 73 million up front. The rest was in add-ons. Sancho's got a contract with the club until 2026. There's an option to extend for a further year. Sancho did endure 4 good years with Borussia Dortmund before he, signed for Man United. Sancho's predominantly a right winner, but we've played him on the left a few times. Man United have got Amad Diallo. I think he'll probably be staying, even though he's not one of our first choice. Should I say first choices? Last season, Amad Diallo was out on loan with Rangers, so reflecting on that, he did gain some experience. I heard that he did well for Rangers. Man United did get Amad Diallo from Atalanta, got him in a deal worth 37 million. With add-ons included, Man United paid around 19 million up front. Cristiano Ronaldo, he will probably be staying at Man United this year. He could leave next year. Eric Ten Hag did say not so long ago that Ronaldo is in our plans for the new season and isn't for sale. Ronaldo missed Man United's first 2 games of pre-season due to family reasons. Well, not so long ago, Ronaldo missed quite a few days of training because of the family issues. Not so long ago though, Ronaldo told Man United he wants to leave this summer. Because he was unhappy over the lack of progress with transfers. But now we are making progress in the transfer window. Man United did insist though that Ronaldo wasn't for sale. A number of clubs have been in for him. Not so long ago he was offered to Chelsea. Barcelona have made inquiries. Bayern Munich have been in for him. He was offered to PSG. Roma have been in for him, and his former club Sporting Lisbon have been in for him. So there you go. Ronaldo's contract at the club expires next year. There's an option to extend for a further year. Man United re-signed Ronaldo last year from Juventus. Ronaldo's in his second spell at Man United. Of course, Bruno Fernandes will be staying at Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes is a really good player. He's one of the best players we've got. But last season I thought Fernandes was poor. We've struggled to get the best out of Bruno Fernandes since Ronaldo re-signed for the club. But before Ronaldo came, Fernandes was in scintillating form. Fernandes has got a contract with Man United until 2026. It was early on this year he extended his contract. Fernandes has been a United player for over 2 years. Man United got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Marcus Rashford, he'll be staying at Manchester United at least for this year. If he does poor this season, I think he could leave next year. Marcus Rashford's already made it clear that he wants to stay at Man United, because earlier on this year he rejected a move to Tottenham, did Rashford. Rashford, you know, has done well so far in pre-season. I thought he did well in the 4-0 win against Liverpool, and he scored in the 4-1 win against Melbourne victory yesterday. It was a good composed finish. Like I said, Eric Bailly was the provider for the Rashford goal. Rashford is a good young player overall, but like I've said, he's not been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. He missed the first 2 months of last season with that shoulder problem. Rashford's contract expires next year. He has been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he broke into our senior squad back in 2016. You can play Rashford on the left, you can play him on the right, you can play him up top. I think you seem to get the best out of him when he's playing on the left. I'm not too keen on Rashford playing up top. And Anthony Martial looks like he's staying at Manchester United now. Martial's had a good start to pre-season. He's got 2 goals in 2 games. Martial scored in the 4-0 win against Liverpool in Bangkok. It was a good chip. And he scored in the 4-1 win against Melbourne victory yesterday. Don't forget, last season Martial was out on loan with Sevilla. Tom Eaton, I think he'll be staying for this year, but he'll probably go next year. Tom Eaton is now our second choice keeper, because not so long ago Henderson went out on loan to Nottingham Forest. Eaton was in goal in the game against Melbourne victory yesterday, because as you all know, De Gea picked up an injury. So there you go. Like I've said, we've seen players leave Manchester United this year. Like I said, Andres Pereira recently left. He went to Fulham. Not so long ago, Henderson went out on loan to Forest. Earlier on this year, Lee Grant retired. Matic left this year. Pogba left recently. He went back to Juventus. Juan Mata left. And Cavani left. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes, on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.